When I was a kid, she had a little studio room at their house with all sorts of art supplies and a handful of her paintings. And her paintings were also found at most of our relatives' houses, including ours. And for me, I know how important it was to see a grown-up making art as a kid. It demonstrated that art comes from somewhere. It doesn't just appear on the walls at stuffy museums, and paintings are not just priceless MacGuffins to drive the action of 70s heist movies. It's made by people. Art is made by people. Sometimes people we know. One of her pieces was a drawing of a lady falling from the sky. I was fascinated with all of the details in the distant buildings and how much, while she was maybe shouting, it seemed like it was a shout of fun instead of fear. And like any favorite piece of art, it grabbed me more as I looked at it over the years and I learned more about it. At first, because Wonder Woman was on TV back then, I for some reason thought that the lady was Wonder Woman. My first aha moment with this piece of art was realizing that it was not Wonder Woman. It was just a lady in a swimsuit, or maybe her underwear. I don't know. Didn't know why. And then one day I learned about the Eiffel Tower, and I was like, hey, that's the building from the drawing. That was my second aha moment for this piece of art. And I later recognized other buildings, and then I noticed drawing techniques that I had learned about in drawing books, hatching and shading, things like that. Many years later, after having not seen or even thought about this drawing for a really long time, I saw it again during a visit to my cousin's house. And immediately, both Julia and I noticed how much it looks like something I would do. It looks like one of my drawings. The influence from this drawing of my aunt's was very obvious. And then my cousin told me another thing that I never knew about this drawing, that my Aunt Kathy drew this based on two different photographs. One of a lady being tossed up in the air out of a blanket by some guys on the beach, which is, I guess, what people used to do before the internet. And the other is obviously a picture of the Paris skyline. And that made sense, the shouting for joy look on the woman's face, as though she was having fun instead of falling to her death. There's such a great story to this drawing, a story that we as the viewer, we don't really even need to know it. We don't need to know why she's falling, or why she's in Paris, or why she's in her underwear or swimsuit or whatever she's wearing. She's full of hope and movement, with a very hopeful spirit about her as she falls towards a very still Paris that looks completely devoid of life. At first I thought it would be fun for me to draw my own version of this, just based on memories and my recent rediscovery of it. But instead, I'm choosing to do a kind of companion piece. A reversal. What if this hopeful, strong, mysterious woman was standing firmly planted to the ground while the city fell from above? Could I manage to capture the same feeling that my aunt captured, that the woman isn't worried, that she remains in her own space of control in a world of chaos? She's going to be just fine.